Welcome to Modern Musings, conversations with the maiden, mother, and crone, looking at ourselves and the world through the lens of the 21st century. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Amber, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Kristen and Cindy.
Hello.
And we're back, and we're talking again this week about goals.
Yay.
Go. Okay, anyway.
Goal.
So we're the unofficial official title for our episode this week is Goals, Our Lives, and More. And so we're going to talk a little bit about everything. We're going to mention one little word. We're going to talk about things that's going on in our lives.
Yeah, just kind of wrapping up the end of the year. So today is December the 31st.
Mm-hmm.
And so we thought, we'll just finish out the year with a high note of what we're looking forward to, basically. Yeah.
Well, I would say 2025 has been an interesting year.
Oh, yeah. Did somebody tell you, may you live in interesting times?
Yeah.
That's a well-known curse, right? So, yeah.
Well,
me too.
We live in interesting times. 2025, no exception.
Yep.
I say, this year for me, though, other than like the world stuff that's been going on, this year has been all about grad school.
Oh,
That has been the all-consuming thing that I have done in 2025.
And I can vouch for this because every time we say, "Hey, Amber, can you do this?" I have a paper to write.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's been... So I will be graduating this year in 2026.
Yeah.
But like the daily grind hopefully will be worth it by the time I'm done. I will be getting my master's in education. Yay! Focus on school counseling and licensed professional counseling, which will be after I get my school counseling certification. The licensed professional counseling will be something that I will pivot into studying and collecting hours for, and that'll be another 18 months onto my life after I graduate.
Oh.
I know. And
that's all like practicum, right?
Yes,
Mostly,
yes.
yeah.
It's collecting hours out in the field and doing experiences.
Yeah.
And 18 months is like the fast track. I have up to
Wow.
3 years, I believe, to get it. So
Wow. And this is why I have not done that.
yeah, so I can either like put it to grind and like go like my life already is.
Yeah.
Or I could do it slowly over 3
like
years.
if you're doing your counseling at school, do those hours count?
They most certainly do.
Oh,
Yes.
that's good. That's good. And you could get paid for those hours.
Yes, the idea though of getting it done in eight months is that you have
8 months or 18?
18, sorry.
Okay.
To get it done in 18 months is that you have to pay a supervisor
Oh.
to go, and give your hours and stuff too and come and supervise you, and it's on a monthly basis. So doing it over 3 years is going to be pretty costly.
Yeah. Do it as quick as you can.
So
sure.
yeah,
that's weird that you have to pay someone to do it. Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah,
I mean, doctor interns get paid to be doctor interns.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I'd be getting paid as a school counselor, but then like I would be paying somebody to come and observe me and like talk about my hours and stuff like that.
Weird.
So, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what's going on with this year. I have like a lighter semester, not like at work, but at grad school coming up where I only have 2 classes that I'm taking.
Ah.
So, but the summer I'm going to be taking 3 classes, so I'll be
Ooh.
doubling up on classes so I can graduate in August.
Well, but that'll be good because you can maybe take it a little easier in the spring semester while your school
Well,
teaching ramps up for the semester.
on the flip side, I will be doing an internship semester. So
Oh,
therefore, I will have to collect 200 hours
yeah. Oh.
of
So that's in
counseling.
addition to the 2 classes. Yeah.
Yes, in
Okay.
addition to one of the classes is the 200 hours, and
Oh,
then
okay.
I have an additional supplemental class that I take along with it.
Okay.
And but it's, both things I will have to do classwork and write papers
Right.
and stuff for. It's just this last semester, I also took a 3rd class,
Okay.
and it was only an 8-week class, but that first 8
Kicked your butt.
weeks kicked my butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like August, September, my butt was properly kicked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had
can
3
only imagine.
classes going at once, plus a full schedule at work.
Yeah.
I started getting aura migraines again, and my eye was twitching, and it was not
and this
fun.
goes back to the discussion that we were having before we started recording about self-care and
Mhm.
counselor, heal yourself.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
it was like survival mode for
Yeah.
8 weeks.
I know it sucks to be in that position, but it I think you'll find it will really be worth it.
Mhm.
But do take care of yourself, and especially during this little break, take care of yourself, rest up, and I can't wait for you to get your education done and have your licensing done, because I keep you've already added so much to the podcast from the things that you're learning.
Mhm.
I'm so excited about what more you can add when you can legally do so. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's where I'm a little bit jealous of that, because I have contemplated getting my life coach certification or an art journaling certification. It wouldn't be anything nearly as involved as getting a master's degree, obviously, but it's I've done some research on it, just trying to see who the certifying authorities are, and what I'd have to do, because I feel like I'd like to have that little bit of contribution as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's not a goal yet. It's just a curiosity. So
Just an idea.
yeah. I thought about somatic coaching and some of those kind of things as well. There's several programs that are like shorter, like 9-month to a year program. That where you can get a certification and do some things. But like I said, it's not even a goal. It's just a kind of a I wonder what would happen, if I did this. But yeah. But going back to grad school, that's a huge endeavor. Going back to school of any kind is a huge endeavor, and
Yeah.
but I would like to emphasize that it is never too late to go to school. If I so chose, I could go back to school and get a degree. I'm just choosing to pursue other venues, at the
Choose
moment.
peace. I'm just kidding.
Right. Well, actually, it's really more like I choose less stress right now. So, that doesn't mean I won't choose to go back to school, but right now I'm kind of choosing the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I wish that I had done it directly after I graduated with my bachelor's. But at the same time, I'm more mature
yeah.
and more focused
Well, and
now.
I think when you finish your,
and I can afford it.
well, and I think sometimes when people get their bachelor's degree or whatever, especially if it took you a little longer than you anticipated, you get that little bit of
Yeah.
burnout. And it's like, I'm so tired of going to school. I don't want to go to school anymore. And that's kind of what happened to me because, I have an associate's degree and I did intend to go, to school and pursue some other things, but I I just got burnt out from it. It was just like I'm tired of that. I don't want that daily grind, and I think that was part of what kept me from going back to school for a
Mm-hmm.
long time. Well, for 40 years because I couldn't see myself doing that on a daily. I just
Mm-hmm.
nah.
Yeah,
But
I think that's what happened with me going to school because I got into like a track plan and then I realized like I'm interested in this topic, but I don't want it as a career.
right,
And then it was like, okay, I'm going to try something else. And then I kept finding like, okay, this is cool, but not exactly what I want to do. I don't know. I want to do a lot of things and not
yeah,
any of them at the same time.
right. Well, that's kind of me.
Yeah.
I mean, I call
Yeah.
myself a jack of all trades because I really am. I do a lot of different things, and I've done a lot of different things. So
Well, it was like as far as my decision was, I had gotten like a peak performance
hmm
as a teacher. I had reached that higher plane of existence as far as I wouldn't say you there is no such thing as perfect teaching.
well, no, of
I
course,
wouldn't say that I
no
perfected
human is
teaching.
perfect. So
I just honed my skills beyond what was available to me at the time. And so the next step up, I suppose, as far as like pay
or even just challenging
yeah,
yourself.
challenging. Um, I had always been interested in the mental health
hmm
field, and it was what I initially wanted to get my bachelor's in, but I got my bachelor's in English because it was easier and I would have gotten out of school faster, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I had always planned to go back and get my master's in, therapy, counseling. And so it just took me like 15 years to do it.
Yeah. Hey,
but
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
why but I feel like yeah, I gained this experience over the last 15 years and honed my skills
hmm
and grew my skills to where I felt confident enough that I could go back and pretty, ace grad school. And I was at a point in my life where I had not as many external things going on. And so I finally entered into the grad school universe. And this whole time that I've been doing it has been rewarding.
hmm
I have learned so much and I have experienced so much and I have met so many great people, especially this year in 2025, where I had residency over the summer and I made a lot of new friends while I was there and, picked up a couple of mentor
hmm
professors. And then this past semester, working in my practicum has also been very rewarding because I've been learning a lot on the school counselor side of education and what all that entails. There's you can observe and observe all you want, but until you're in the thick of it, that's when all the magic happens.
Right, right.
What about you, Kristen?
Well, for me, I mean, since the last time we had a little update, not a whole lot has happened, but just kind of recapping, obviously, new relationship, new home, and new everything at work. So I feel like my life took like a 180. compared to where I was this time last year. And so 2025 has also been an interesting year, without a doubt. Lately, I have been, I don't know, just getting into the routine of the life, and I don't know, like reestablishing those daily routines, because I was like a wild beast, a feral cat for a few, like, almost a year,
Well, yeah, because your life literally got turned upside down.
Yeah. And so when I was living all by myself for that time, I was like, well, I don't have to cook. I don't have to buy groceries.
Sounds like me.
So, like, if I wanted to eat crackers and cheese for dinner, I ate crackers and cheese, and the only guilt I felt was I wasn't eating a vegetable, but it wasn't that I wasn't feeding other people vegetables,
Yeah, yeah.
So, getting back into, the responsibility of making sure other people's well-being is met.
Been there.
So, that's kind of like, I don't know, for me, because I'm such a routine person, and like I get in my way and my rut of how I do things. Even just moving houses, like, completely, like, disrupts, like, my flow, because
everything disrupts my flow.
It sounds like so small, but like even just getting out of bed, and like the daunting task of like, I need to use a restroom, and then I need to wash my hands, and then I need to brush my teeth, or do I get out of bed and let the dogs out because they need to use a restroom too, and then do I rush back, because now I really need to use a restroom and wash my hands and brush my teeth. And then I got to go back and let the dogs in and make my coffee and go back in my bedroom. I know that sounds silly, but like that kind of stuff.
I get it, because
like,
I have a routine.
Yeah.
And I think it's maybe the autism, maybe the ADHD
and the OCD
and the OCD.
It's all connected. All of that is connected.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, but it is. I have those routines, and if I don't do them in exactly the same order, I will literally forget some of them, or it just throws me off.
It's so weird because it's like my bed's on the other side of the room now, and that kind of stuff to me is like, it makes everything like wrong. It's different, and it's like I'm still getting used to like doing, because I like to do those things the exact same way every day, because if I don't do something, I forget something.
Yeah.
And then I get all spiraled out of control, and then I'll go like 3 months without paying an electricity bill or something because I didn't wake up on the right side of the bed too many days in a row.
But I mean, it's so true.
So
like
weird.
that works for me too. Like, especially if medication. That, like, if I get off my routine on medication or taking my vitamins or whatever, then the next thing you know, it's been 3 months and I haven't taken my vitamins, and the doctor's telling me that I'm anemic,
Yeah, no,
which happened to me recently.
Because if I don't get up and do all the things in the right order, then I don't get to take my pills at the right time. And then I've forgotten it until dinner time, and I'm like, oh crap, here's my pills still sitting here, and I didn't take them. I pulled them out. I put them in the little container. They're sitting on my desk so that I could take them, but guess what? I got my routine off, so I didn't eat breakfast, and I have to eat something before I take my pills. So, it does. It really does.
Legit. So I feel like that's me right now. I'm trying to like focus every day on that, and Scott's really good about that because he's like such a creature of habit. Like, he does everything the exact same way all the time, so effortlessly. So I just kind of like follow his lead in that, and he reminds me of things that I've said out loud, like I want to do this or I'm going to do that, and then he reminds me to do it. And like he can tell when I'm like
squirreling.
Or just like staring at something because I'm like, what was I doing? Because I do that a lot.
Yeah.
And he goes, and kind of like, oh, he doesn't snap, but he says something that,
Yeah.
like makes me go, oh,
Yeah.
reboot, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
It's so weird. I'm like a little like broken robot or something.
you had the little beach ball the little spinning beach ball on the computer going.
Beach ball on the computer. That's me. I'm loading.
Yeah.
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 And so, it's nice because he's very like efficient too. And I try to be efficient, and I do things like try to carry too many things because I just try to do it in one trip, and then I end up dropping everything because I'm trying to be efficient, and then I become inefficient. It's a battle.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying that part of my life right now, just like figuring out where everything goes and where I'm supposed to be and when and where and all of that stuff. So in all of that, like we kind of figured out like stuff that we like to do together, and one of the things that we've been doing lately is making bread. So I never really thought of myself as a baker. I'm more of a casserole baker. I'm not even a stovetop cook. Like I burn stuff on the stove and I burn stuff in the oven. And I'm a crock pot kind of girl, actually, or put it all in the pan in a dish, a casserole dish, or a one sheet wonder pan. I love those kind of cooking, right? It's because you can't really mess up.
Welcome to the baking world. We love you.
Yeah, and like we were talking about something because he has like a German recipe that his grandma and mom always make, and he was telling me about it, and he was like, I'll show you how to make it, but we need to figure out how to make bread. And I was like, oh, you don't want me to make bread. Because the first time I tried to make bread was the last time I tried to make bread. It didn't rise, and I was like, this is too much. I'll just stick to like my box brownies and my tater tot casserole and call it a day. Because baking is really precise and following the directions and doing things in the right order. And it really is hard for me to follow directions and like just stick with the plan. And I've actually found like I enjoy that. And I've made bread successfully quite a few times now. And I got a grain mill. It's like a professional grade grain mill. And so we've been like grinding up wheat berries. We ground up some oats because I've been making dog cookies with the oats and baby food. And I enjoyed that. Like I can bake those and you can't really mess up 2 ingredient cookies for the dogs. And then we started baking bread, and now we're like looking at like using ingredients like more efficiently, so like we're not wasting and stuff like that. So I've been really enjoying like that. So I was thinking like, man, it would be really cool to like explore the bread making and expanding my knowledge of bread and stuff like that. So
cool.
That's what I've been doing right now. I haven't really been doing else much except for work, man. I've been slaving away kind of like Amber. Last year was it's been like opportunities compiling. I got the opportunity to lead a department. That was what I did previously in my job before COVID. They relaunched it again. And then we expanded to 25 people. And they want to keep growing it. And now I have, we outsourced. So I have employees in America, Zimbabwe, and Costa Rica. And so to me, that's really cool. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm an international leader. Like, I know it sounds silly, but like literally I'm like supervising people at their jobs in like different countries. It's really cool. And getting to learn about their cultures and stuff. And just like really growing professionally this past year. I could definitely say this past year has been a challenge, learning again how to manage, I wouldn't say again, like I've never had a team this big before, and just managing, like personally managing their performance and stuff for that many people is a lot, day in and day out, and making sure like everybody's hitting their goal. Like I help them get goals every month, and develop them and get them in shape for the month, and help them also professionally develop. So that's been pretty amazing. I'm getting I have now another leader under on my team. So that's been really great, having a little bit of extra help because it was definitely needed. And so I'm excited to see where, this next year goes. I was kind of on the fence about my career and what I wanted to do with my career. And, I've been at my company for 15 years. And so it was kind of at that point, it was okay, is this where I want to stay forever? Because we're getting kind of to that stage where it's getting kind of serious. Where
after
I work.
15 years.
Yeah, after 15 years. And obviously the longest place I've ever worked at. So
by
11 years.
You were actually contemplating a complete career change this time last year.
Yeah. And I mean, it's still on the table. So still on the table to finish my bachelor's degree. And, right now the economy is kind of, I want to see where the economy goes too. That's not going to stop me from getting my bachelor's degree, but
that is an extra financial burden.
Well, and that's not even it. I was just thinking where is the education system going? Because I was thinking about, doing art education and
don't ask my opinion on that.
I know. I'm not, but I'll just say that 2 schools within stone's throw of where I live just closed.
Yeah.
And so I was well, maybe they're not going to be hiring. I really think that the way they deliver education to students, in the next decade is going to be completely different. So I want to sit back and consider too,
that makes sense.
Because even my career, call center, dental, the medical industry, we were severely impacted by COVID because, it wasn't considered as urgent as other medical care. So we were kind of put on the back burner, and it took a while before we were allowed to operate full service again.
Yeah.
It was almost a year before we really got to turn the lights back on, for regular dentistry. And basically we had to rebuild everything from scratch again because we had bare boned our skeleton of staffing and changed the level of service that we offered for the company to the extent that we had to rebrand ourselves to show them that they needed us again.
Yeah.
And how we can bring value back. And now, we're running at a different capacity now. We have different level of service that we offer. I definitely think we're more prominent within the company. And even in my role, I have, leaders, district and vice president, area regional managers reaching out to me asking for my team support. So it's kind of wow, supply and demand is definitely there.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of thinking about education system. Is there supply and demand there? 10 years from now, people might be homeschooling again. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, or, all virtual schooling might be working from home. So I don't know what that looks like for an art teacher in elementary school. So,
Right.
I still want to get my degree, but will I use it? Who knows? So it's definitely on the table. I think I want to work on, getting my finances and stuff in order, because I think that's a part of my life that's been kind of rocky and up and down, because every time you shake the tree and all the fruit falls off, and you got to grow more fruit again. So all my savings gets depleted every time I have to move. So, it's time to start rebuilding my walls and stuff like that. So,
yeah. Well, and I'm still in a similar situation for me, which is why I said I don't want to commit to some kind of plan right now because, it's been almost exactly two years since Mark passed away. And in fact, coming up on it in just a couple of days. So, that literally shook the tree, and there's still a lot of fruit on the ground that I need to pick up and clean up and put away, just because there's just so much to deal with when something like that happens. And so I'm still like last year, well, let me back up to 2 years ago. I had some plans because I did my early planning a little bit. I wasn't really like set in stone planning in 2023, at the end of 2023, but I had some larger goals in mind, and then they all basically got thrown out the window on January 3rd. So, it was just like, boom, that's it. Too late. You can't do that. You've got other things to worry about now.
Yeah.
And so I spent the better part of the year just flying by the seat of my pants, which is, I think, what widows tend to do. And it's okay because they tell you don't make any plans, don't make any changes, don't do any of those things for at least a year, 6 months to a year. And so I just dealt with stuff as it came up. I literally was putting out fires all the time. And so then 2025 rolls around, and I started to look at my goals, but I looked at them and I was looking at the same stuff I was looking at the year before that I didn't finish. And I think I've mentioned this ad nauseum on this podcast, that my garage is full of dead people's stuff. And literally I have pictures. I need to go back and take some pictures. I need to post them on the blog so people will know what I'm talking about, because there was one point when it was at its worst, after we had moved my mother into a nursing home or a memory care facility, and we had our friend Coy, who had terminal colon cancer. He was here living with us, and so and my niece lived with us, and so we had some of my niece and sister's belongings, a lot of Coy's belongings, my mother's belongings, and then everything of mine that was in those rooms that they were occupying in my garage. And it was literally like a corn maze to get through, from the house out the garage door. And it's I've whittled it down quite a bit. It's almost completely done, but it's taken me, 2 years to get to there. And so, like I said, when I started looking at goals at the beginning of last year, I was still staring at this huge pile of crap and a huge list of things that I had not accomplished the year before. And I kind of just gave up. I kind of loosely wrote down some very general goals, like, lose some weight, clean out the garage. That was.
I like that word rules though, because if you make it a rule, then it's kind of like you have to do it.
I know, right? I might have been better off if I
lose weight.
It might have been better off if I had. Weight. But I did lose weight. I didn't but I wasn't like actively pursuing that goal. Does that make sense? I was going to the gym on a regular basis, but I wasn't going to the gym on that regular basis with the sole intent of losing weight. I was going to the gym because I like going to the gym, and it made me feel better when I did. And so I lost a little bit of weight in the meantime, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay that I didn't have these lofty goals of losing 50 pounds. I kind of did have a lofty goal of losing 50 pounds, which is very doable, but I just didn't pursue it. So, yeah, right. Both, we can all raise our hands here, right? Whoop, whoop. So, I'm kind of in the same place now. I don't I'm at the end of the year. I kind of know what I want my goals to be, but I haven't put the SMART test to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't and I will start right here by saying we record about 2 months out, 2 months to 6 weeks ahead of time. So oh no, everybody knows it. It's no secret that we record ahead of time. Everybody else does too. So we're not live, so it doesn't matter. Now, if we had more popularity, we could go live. So if y'all would like us and subscribe, we could do that. But anyway, so we record.
We could have gone TikTok live. I just didn't think about it.
I know. And I still have time to flesh out those goals before the end of the year. And hopefully you have already kind of thought about yours as well, but there is no time limit on setting a goal. If you get to January 1st and you don't have your goals yet, you can still set goals.
Yeah.
And I've proven that to myself over and over. I did that last
year.
You can set
them all throughout the year.
Exactly. There is no calendar that says you have to do them and you have to have resolutions on January 1st and you got to make them work and all that. Just do them as you get to them, and make those goals when you think about the goal, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So I will go through the process of making them SMART goals. I may have 1 or 2 goals. I may have a whole list of goals. I don't know for sure. I have some ideas of things I want to do, and a number 1 on that list is finish that blankety blank garage. So I, that's there. And among that, some other house cleaning things like, I've been thinking for months now that it was time to empty out my husband's closet. And I started piecemeal, but I haven't completely done it yet. And, so there's some things there, and traveling more, which I've done quite a bit of this year. So there's some of my update for the year. I did some traveling, and I didn't really do any traveling in the early part of the year, which is unusual for me because I usually do, something in the spring and something in the summer and something in the fall. But the fall hit, and I didn't do anything the rest of the year. And then the fall hit, and I went to Baltimore, Philly, and I made a quick whirlwind trip to Lubbock to see the dedication of the South Plains College Synth Lab into Mark's name, which was a very heartfelt thing, and then Hawaii. So I'm as of this recording getting ready to go to Hawaii next week. I'll be back by the time you get to hear this, but yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do is kind of, like Amber said, adventure. I'm going for adventure. I'm looking for what's out there for me because I don't know what's next for me. Mm-hmm. I'm turning 61. I will have turned 61 by the time you hear this. And I'm single and relatively healthy and adventuresome, and I don't know what I want to do with the rest of my life besides recording this podcast, obviously.
Currently doing. Yeah.
But yeah, I want to keep recording podcasts, but I'm looking to see what's next in my life. So that's kind of where my goal is right now. So or where my goals are leaning is these are my options. And
so you say 2026 is going to be about exploring your options.
Maybe. I already did, and that brings me up to something because you talk about exploring, and explore was one of my words of the year a few years ago. Actually, it was, maybe that was that in 2021? It may have been 2020 during COVID. Because I meant to be exploring all these options, And then what I really figured out, actually, I think it was before that. I think it was 2019. And yeah, because 2020, my word was clarity. And that gave me the clarity about what I didn't want anymore in my life. There's a long story behind that. But I did have explore as one of my one little words. And I did some exploring with that. But not as much as I think I would have liked. But back onto that with one little word, since we're recording a little early, I haven't really settled on my word for the year. It probably won't be explore. I'm just saying that, even though exploring would be a lot of fun. But I'm looking for something maybe a little less challenging. I had clarity, which, when I did clarity, I was hoping to get clarity on what I wanted out of my life, and COVID hit, and I wound up learning what I didn't want out of my life, but it didn't really get me that much closer to what I did want. And then I did now. I think now was the next one. And that one was a really challenging word because I don't know, it's really weird because I'm a planner. I like to plan everything. And I'm a control freak. So living in the now, and I had just read Eckhart Tolle's book. Mm-hmm. This was before we did our episodes about it. And so I wanted to do now. And because I felt like I needed to learn to live in the now. And that was really hard for me, but I got a lot better at that. And then I did light. And that was the year that we found out that Mark had cancer. And so I don't know. I chose light because I needed some light in my life after all of the challenges of COVID and my mother living with us and Coy and all those things. And then I realized I really, really needed light, when we found out Mark was sick. And then after, was that right? Maybe I'm backwards. I may be missing one in there somewhere. But, it's just having those where I used balance. I think balance was one year before last. And then this past year has been okay. And I thought, okay, it's going to be easy because everything's okay, right? All I have to do is just say, it doesn't matter. It's okay, right? But even doing that is, for someone who is a control freak, is really hard. And so I don't know. I'm looking at words like joy and love and accept, or maybe open or content. I've thought about flow and perspective, and I also thought about purpose. So, but some of those feel like they might bubble up in a challenging way also. So I may go with something completely different. I don't know. But that's kind of where I'm at with that. And I think whatever my word happens to be, my goals will kind of follow that pattern, if that makes any sense. So what about you, Kristen? Do you have a word picked out yet?
I have my word picked out.
Oh, really?
So it popped up and I was like, there it is.
Usually that's what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually my word just slaps me in the face.
That's what happens, but it hasn't hit me yet, so.
Yeah. It's usually like when you're like paying attention and you're listening and like being present.
Yeah, being present is a big part of it. It is.
Yeah. Because I'll see the word like on paper, or I'll hear someone else say that word, and it'll just be like, ting.
That's how okay came to me last year. I was watching a one little word video. One of the instructors, Liz, was on the Zoom call or whatever from her craft studio shop.
Oh yeah, and you saw it
and she had the letters OK on her shelf behind her. And when I saw it, I was just like, that's it. That's what I need for my word, because I need to be okay. And I will tell you, without, giving too much away about my word, it was a struggle. It was hard, but I can tell that I'm okay now. And I think that was a really good word for me. So I'm hoping I find another word that is going to be similarly helpful.
You know what I find, like, it helps because if you think about putting a puzzle together, we always go with the outside and you put the outside together.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes you get a few puzzle pieces together and you're not sure if it's the top or the bottom or the side, right? And then it helps to, like, see if the new word fits in line with the other ones that were already together, because your words really do flow.
They do. They do. My words have all, I went from,
you choose your word in the space you're in from that other word.
And you grow from it into the next word. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's kind of how my word came up. Like, I was looking at a list of words and it was just like slapped me in the face, and I was like, okay, that's my word. And then I thought about it. I was like, how does it kind of like play into my previous words? And then I really like stepped back and I looked at how my words worked, because like you were saying, I had like a lot of words before, like change, rise, less. They were real action words. Even harmony, even though it sounds real chill, like I had to
you have to work at harmony. You do.
I really did have to work at harmony. And because even like through my rose-colored glasses, I wasn't seeing harmony, and sometimes you have to see it and it's already there, and sometimes you have to make it. Yeah. And so the past two words that I have were pause.
Right.
And I liked that one because I was like, okay, I don't want a word that I have to do a lot. Right. I wanted a non-action word. And pause was actually a challenge, because when I wanted to like take a leap of faith or, act out of, impulse, which is me, totally. I'm an impulsive person. That was a hard word. And B was also, that was my next word. And it also kind of stems off of pause. It's not being so impulsive, but just being who
what you
I am.
Who you are, yeah.
And accepting things the way they are and going with the flow at the same time, right? And so the word that came up to me was devotion. And I liked it because it's like a commitment to the areas of your life.
Right.
Right. And that one's one that I found like helps, because sometimes my one word didn't fit in all of my life categories. Like pause really was not helping me at work because I needed move.
Right.
That was my rise. My word rise was like for me to get up off my butt and really like move faster.
Right.
And work dedicated kind of. I wanted to raise my paycheck. I wanted to, change my position at work, and, it helped, obviously. If I manifested it or not, I don't know, but things definitely
But you
changed.
rose to the occasion. You rose to the
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, sometimes pause was kind of hard to wrap around everything in my word. And B, I made it work. Like, it worked. But I feel like devotion, because if you're setting goals in areas of your life, you are devoting that energy to it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, how are these words like, does devotion flow from pause and be, right? Because they're both like, right here kind of words. And devotion is an action word in a sense. But it's also an action word from here, where you're at, from your heart.
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
gonna
that's
say,
what I
people,
meant. From
people,
here, you
people,
can't see
people
me,
can't
but
see you.
I hope
They
you
can-
heard it in my voice. It's from here, not
from out there.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was reading some stuff about the word devotion, and I was thinking about like pause and be, and like what that pattern looks like, because to me, I don't know, like that's important to me, like the pattern, right? Am I growing, right? Or am I just like stopping this growth and completely
Jumping
doing something
over,
different?
yeah.
I don't want to jump the hedge. I want to keep the growth pattern that I
Right.
have, right? So pause is inhale, be is the hold,
Right.
and devotion is the exhale.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's what you give, that
Right.
energy that you give to the things that are important
That-
to you.
That is a really cool perspective of that. I like that a lot. I do.
So when I thought devotions there, I'm like, ooh, like I like that, because I feel like now I've paused. I'm accepting myself and who I am and what I love and what's important to me. And now I know what that is. I can devote my time and my energy to that.
Right.
And my goals are probably still going to be the same. I still want to be healthy. I still want to do,
Right,
rock star
right.
at work, right? And I still want to have, good family and friend and, relationships, right? And I still want to have good finances. But to say, like, I'm devoting this money to my savings, or I'm
Right.
devoting this amount of my paycheck on my budget, right? That, like, to me is more like a promise, and that I'm doing it for a purpose, not just because I think I'm supposed to.
Right.
So,
Well, and that goes for, for your time as well. I'm devoting this chunk of time to do this every day
yes,
or every week or whatever,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I get that. That's really cool. I like that. That's a good word. It's a good word. I hope my word comes to me, and like I say, they usually do. They usually come to me like in September or so, and or they're at least sitting there in front of me, like blinking their lights and going, pick me, pick me, pick me, and I just haven't had that yet this year, and I don't know if it's just because I haven't really slowed down and listened, to my own heart and figured out what it is I want yet or what, but that's coming, and I will have a word. And
it's hard sometimes because you're still in your word now.
I'm still in my
this
word.
Year,
yes,
not
yes.
the word now, but I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully you're
Well,
always that word stays
stayed
with you.
me.
Yeah.
Now stays with me all the time. But yeah, I mean, I'm still in the okay, and like I said, I'm just now getting to the point in that word where I can honestly say that okay is where I am right now. I can look back at the last 2 years of my life and say, oh my God, I survived this. It's like that. Was it Joyce Carol Oates' shortest poem or book or whatever it was that we talked about?
Yeah,
the
I
widow's,
remember what you're talking about. Yeah,
the widow's year. I survived, or I kept myself alive. I kept myself alive, and I look back and I'm like, okay, I've made it through 2 years, nearly 2 years of widowhood, and I can honestly say I'm okay. It's not somewhere I wanted to be.
Yeah.
But I can keep going. I'm not going to fall apart. I'm not going to be destitute on the street. I've been able to take care of my financial obligations. I've taken care of some major stuff on my house and my vehicles, thousands of dollars worth of work and major appliance purchases, and I did them on my own, and I feel really good about that. And so that tells me I'm okay because I was able to do those things by myself.
And you
And
didn't blow a gasket.
And I didn't blow a gasket. I was okay. I was calm. I was okay. So I'm hoping that the next word will be just as enlightening, but yeah, we'll just have to wait to see what it is when it happens. So what about you, Amber?
Well, I've been thinking a lot about this because, this coming year is going to bring a lot of changes for me in many different ways. And I was thinking, like, I kind of went down a rabbit hole thinking of, because I wanted a simple word, but then I didn't want a simple word. And, like, I want something, that's like, because when I started doing one little word with you guys, it was post divorce.
Yeah.
And my first word I chose was forward because I'm always moving forward. And a lot of my words since then have been like along the same lines.
Yes. Growth and yeah.
Yeah. And so I think this year I'm going to continue that trend of moving forward. But I'm going to say it in a different way. I want to use the word illuminate.
Ooh, that's nice. Yeah.
Because I'm on a path and illuminate kind of lights the way on the path to follow my goals.
But you can also illuminate the path for others too.
Yes.
Yeah.
By being a teacher, or counselor. I
Mm.
like that. I like it when it works in lots of ways.
It goes with every aspect of my life, really.
Yeah.
And that has always been, even before my divorce, always moving forward has always been my mantra. Like, I don't like to dwell too much on the past because it already happened. It's done. It's like if you overspend your money and you cry about it. And I was like this as a kid too. It's like, well, you're not getting it back until your next paycheck. What are you going to do?
Did you learn the lesson from what happened and go forward? Yeah.
And that's something that I used to tell my parents a lot as a kid. Like they would get mad and angry about money or that something was overspent. And I would just say to them, I would just be like, well, it's gone. You're not getting it back.
Right.
Don't be mad about
Quit
it.
beating a dead horse.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And so that's always something that I like to live by, and illuminate is just kind of another way of saying it. I guess a more fancy way of saying it.
I do like that. That word is great because it does, like you said it. I mean, you can illuminate the path. You can, for yourself or for others, you can illuminate the shadows in your own self.
Yeah.
And take them out of the darkness and make them light. And
and then you get a lot of symbolism too, like light bulbs.
Oh gosh, yes.
I like that. Whenever your word has like trigger symbols and imagery that pops up in your head.
Yeah,
like
light. When I did the word light, it was perfect for that because there, you could use light bulbs, you could use a scale, you could use a feather, you could use a torch or fire, or anything that created light, and I used those a lot in the things that I did, just as that constant reminder to stay light, keep things light, don't let the heavy weigh you down, and things like that. And,
well, I'm not saying that I'm gonna do one little word this year.
Yeah. Well,
and like go
just like disclaimer.
Disclaimer that like I pick a word, and I usually do goal settings with my students, and we do one little word type thing in my classroom, or I call it one word.
Right. Yeah.
Because y'all follow Allie Edwards, I follow John Gordon or whatever.
Well, and then there's what was her name? That podcaster that we Christine Kane, and she calls them power words.
Yeah,
your word of power, and or the word of the year, and there's lots of different people who call them different things, and not everybody does what Allie Edwards does, where it's a class that you
I
you
think
work.
I
Yeah,
just
that's
hitch
too
on to
much,
Ellie 'cause
like,
I like
going
the
on a
crafty stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's just too much for me because there's just so much going
Right.
on that I don't have time to like go on a date with my word and then make like a vision board that has
Yeah.
I mean I do a vision board and I did do a vision
Well,
board last
you
year
do things with your
because
words.
like
Yeah.
my word was like explorer or something I forgot. And I did do a vision board with
Yeah.
my students. Now if it's something classroom related that I can do,
Yeah.
then yeah, I'll do it. So I think it was explorer, yeah. And I did do a vision board and stuff. So I'll probably do the same thing
Yeah. It's
again this year.
really
with
the
my
things that we
students.
do with Allie are just ways for people to make contact with that word. And for me, I need that structured content to make sure I keep that word.
Otherwise, I'll just forget what my word was. And
Right.
why.
I won't
Yeah.
be doing anything with
No.
it for me. But not everybody needs that. You know, it's a lot of people pick their word and they just live that word.
They just wake up every morning and they're like, my word is blah, blah, blah today, and I'm going to blah, blah, blah.
yeah, and that's fine. And
Well, gosh, why be limited to
there's-
one word? How about a word? I'm just
well,
kidding.
yeah. But
Um,
but there are people even in the Allie Edwards community who never do a single prompt ever, but they sign up for it and they watch the videos and learn what they learn, or they do whatever they do.
And
And
like
that's
the
fine.
thing is that I signed up for it 2 years ago and I literally did not watch the
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
I met with y'all one time. I didn't do any of the
Yeah.
prompts.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
You can go back. The class is there forever.
It's forever, and you can do it whenever you
can go
want.
back January and do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do whatever. You can just
Right.
check in and do that.
Yeah, it's
because
there.
they're
Once you buy
timeless.
it, that class stays
Yeah,
there.
It's
Yeah,
there forever.
it's there. In
That's
fact,
what I did last year.
Well,
Oh,
I've
okay.
done that before
Yeah.
too, because there were years when she changed the format and the price went up, and I was just like, I can't really afford that, and I don't like the new format that she's doing, so I just did what I did the year before. I used the same lessons over again, and it was
Mhm.
fine. So yeah, it's.
Well, yeah.
And you don't even have
I-
to, you don't even have to do all the things. Just
Yeah.
I can do that. I just,
you're
I-
busy. You are
I just
busy.
don't think that I'm going to have, honestly, like it's my last year of grad
Yeah.
school,
Yeah.
2026. I don't even think I'm going to have time to sleep
Yeah.
this year.
Well, and there are people, like I said, there's people, we sometimes get together as a little community to do our one little word, and they don't ever watch the video. They just wait and let me tell them what's on the video.
Yeah, like last
Yeah.
night, I think
What
I
was
got
it? I don't
3
know.
hours of sleep because
Oh.
I was up until 1 or 2 doing
Ooh.
grad school, and then I had to get back up at 5.
Oh,
So,
yuck. I've had days and weeks like that too. but
Yeah.
I try not to sustain them, which is why I don't know what I want to do, because I know that I do not want to do that. Yeah.
oh, well.
Sleep is important to me, so yeah.
I
Maybe
mean,
I'll-
it's important to me too. I sleep 1 day a week, and I enjoy it.
Well,
Is
I
that
will say
Sunday?
one of my
Yeah.
sort of maybe goals for the year is to get on a regular, more healthy sleep schedule. I've always been a night owl, and there is I read some studies or listened to some studies on the radio, and they were talking about some people are just naturally night owls and they are more productive at night or whatever. And I feel like I'm one of those people, but I want to be, can we split the difference? I want to find
Mhm.
that
Happy medium.
that
of-
yeah, the golden mean between being a morning person and staying up all night. So if I can get up at like 9 or 10 in the morning and go to bed by midnight or 1, then I would be okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's me, and honestly, I would say the best way to do that is just to go to bed earlier. You don't
I
have to
know.
go to sleep, but just being in the bed
Yeah.
helps.
Well, yeah. Well, and that's one of the things, and I mentioned this before, on one of our episodes about AI that I had talked to ChatGPT about it. I just tested it out, and it gave me a plan for cycling my body back into that thing. And I just need to do it. The problem with me is because it is so natural for me to just stay up until I'm tired, that if I stay up late one night, I'm right back into that pattern again. And it's almost like my body clock is on a 26 or 27 hour cycle instead of a 24-hour cycle. I mean, literally, if I stay up those extra 3 hours, as long as I can sleep that 7 or 8 hours, then I can run 26 more hours. You know, I will stay up later and later and later every night until I'm completely backwards.
And then the sun is coming up. I'm a morning person. I go to bed when the sun comes up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But it literally cycles like that. And so sometimes I just wonder, maybe I'm on a different, maybe it's not a 24-hour circadian rhythm for me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a 26-hour or 27
and that helps if you can get that to cram into a week.
Yeah.
And then you do that Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Which is what I do. Because I can get less sleep Monday through Friday, and then on Friday usually or Thursday, one of those days is when I'm just like, oh, time to bed at 10. Yeah. And then I'm ready to go again.
Yeah. And I do get an average, if you average out my sleep, I get an average of 7 hours of sleep a night, every week. But some of those nights it's like 5 hours of sleep, and then some of them it's like 9 hours of sleep. And when I came back from, I don't know, I can't remember if it was Lubbock or Baltimore, I got 11 hours of sleep. Because I'd had 0 hours of sleep the night before or whatever. That's the way it works. That's what it does. So I don't know. But anyway, speaking of sleep, Amber's got her eyes closed over here. She's going to fall asleep if I don't close this out. Actually, you're the hostess.
Yeah, I know. So what are we talking about next week?
Next week, we are talking about why we feel compelled to share what we believe.
Okay, sounds good. Guys, so share with us your words. Hit us up, send us an email, hit us up on MMC Chat. Like our podcast and share it with as many people as possible.
Yes.
We want to hear from you guys, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.